After our divorce, she told everyone the kid wasn't mine. Now she's broke and begging for child support. I told her to try the real dad. Hello Reddit I plus here. I was 22 when my son, Jacob, was born. Or so I thought. My ex-wife, Lauren, and I met in college. She was magnetic, the kind of girl who knew how to command a room without trying. We were young and reckless, but when she got pregnant during our last semester, I did what I thought was right. We got married in a small courthouse ceremony with a few friends, and I started working nights to support us while she stayed home with Jacob. Those early years weren't easy. Money was always tight, and I was constantly exhausted. But every time I came home and saw Jacob's sleepy smile or felt his tiny hand grip my finger, it felt worth it. He looked just like me, same brown eyes, same dimples, same cowlick in his hair. I never doubted he was mine. Lauren, though, started pulling away after Jacob turned 3. She said I was too tired, too boring, too predictable. I didn't notice how distant she'd become until I caught her whispering in the hallway at 1 a.m. Her phone lit up with a name I didn't recognize, D. When I confronted her, she laughed in my face and told me I was being paranoid. A month later, she left. No warning. Just packed a few bags while I was at work and texted me, "I'm done. I need to live my life." She moved in with some guy. Turned out D was Damon, her old high school boyfriend she'd reconnected with on Facebook. And just like that, she filed for divorce and demanded full custody. I fought back. I wasn't going to let her take Jacob away from me. The court ordered shared custody, which wasn't ideal, but it was better than nothing. I lived for those weekends when he stayed with me. Legos all over the floor, cereal in front of cartoons, the quiet moments when he'd fall asleep on my chest. Then came the bombshell. During a bitter custody dispute about schooling, Lauren claimed Jacob wasn't mine. Not emotionally, not legally. She told the court I had no biological claim to him. I remember sitting in that courtroom as she calmly stated it. Jacob is not biologically his. I just didn't know how to tell him until now. I couldn't even process it. I felt like I was sinking. The judge ordered a paternity test. I waited for days like I was awaiting a death sentence. And then the results came 0% probability of paternity. I stared at the paper like it was written in another language. I wasn't Jacob's father. Not even close. I lost it. Not in court. I held it together there. But when I got home, I punched a hole in the wall and collapsed onto the floor. I cried harder than I ever had in my life. Not for Lauren. For Jacob. My son, who suddenly wasn't mine. After that, everything changed. I had no legal rights. The shared custody ended immediately. I asked Lauren if I could still see him sometimes, just to say goodbye maybe, but she said it was too confusing for Jacob. Then she blocked my number. A few weeks later, she moved to another state with Damon. I tried to move on. Therapy helped. So did time. I rebuilt my life piece by piece. Got a better job, started traveling a little, dated here and there. But trust? That was harder. I didn't speak to Lauren again, didn't even try. Then, almost 4 years later, she messaged me out of nowhere. It started off polite. "Hey, I know it's been a long time. I wanted to talk." I ignored it. Then came a follow-up. "I really need your help. I'm in a tough spot." Curiosity got the better of me. I responded. "What do you want, Lauren?" She laid it out in one long paragraph. Damon had left her. No job, no help. She was living with her aunt and barely scraping by. She asked if I'd be willing to help out a little with child support. For Jacob. I read it 3 times. Child support. For the child she swore wasn't mine. For the kid she ripped away from me after lying for years. Now she wanted money? I responded with one sentence. Try the real dad. She didn't like that. She sent another message saying I was being cruel and immature. That I had been the only real father Jacob ever had. And how money's tight and I shouldn't punish Jacob for what she did. That was the moment something clicked in me. The nerve of this woman, cutting me out of his life the second it suited her, denying me a goodbye, blocking me for years. And now that things weren't going her way, suddenly I'm dad again? So I told her the truth. You made your choice. You burned every bridge you had when you told the court I wasn't Jacob's father. You wanted to win. You won. But you don't get to come crawling back now. Then I blocked her. That night, I opened the old photo album I'd kept tucked away. Photos of Jacob with chocolate all over his face. The Father's Day card he drew in crayon. Best dad ever. His tiny handprints in paint. I sat there for a long time, staring at that little boy who I loved more than anything. The boy who called me daddy. The boy I would have given my life for. I didn't stop loving him. I just wasn't allowed to anymore. Lauren's betrayal wasn't just a lie. It was the theft of a bond that could have lasted a lifetime. But I've learned this. Being a father isn't always about biology. It's about love, commitment, and sacrifice. And she took that from me. So no, I won't be writing her a check. Let the real dad step up, if he ever even knew he was one. Because I already paid the highest price. A few weeks after I blocked Lauren, I thought that would be the end of it. I wasn't prepared for the letter. It came in a plain white envelope, no return address. The handwriting on the front was familiar. Jacob's. Sloppy. A little messy, like he used to write when he was 6, but more grown up now. My chest tightened. Inside was a folded notebook page. Dear Matt, Mom said, you're not my real dad, but I remember you. I remember pancakes on Saturdays. I remember your old truck and the songs you used to sing really loud. I remember falling asleep on the couch and waking up in your arms. I remember you. If I'm not your kid, how come I feel like I am? I don't understand why you stopped calling. I asked Mom, and she said you didn't want to be in my life anymore. That you were done. But I don't think that's true. I found your name on one of my old school papers. I searched it on the computer at the library. That's how I found your address. If you don't want to see me, I get it. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for whatever happened. I still think of you as my dad. Love, Jacob. I sat there, gripping the paper, tears running down my face for the first time in years. My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped it. She told him I didn't want him. She told him I gave up. It's one thing to betray me, but to lie to a child, to weaponize his love, his confusion, for control, that's something darker, something beyond cruel. That night, I didn't sleep. I reread the letter at least a dozen times, every line carved deeper into me than the last. I stared at the return address Jacob had scribbled at the bottom. I recognized the street, Lauren's aunt's place, about 2 hours away, and I made a decision. The next Saturday, I drove out. I didn't call, didn't text, just brought a small bag of some of Jacob's favorite things, stuff I had kept in a box all these years, a photo of us at the zoo, his favorite dinosaur toy, the crayon Father's Day card. I wasn't sure what I was walking into. I just knew I couldn't leave things the way they were. When I pulled up, I saw a kid shooting hoops on the driveway. Skinny, a little taller than I remembered. His hair had grown out, but those same brown eyes turned toward me, wide with disbelief. He dropped the ball. Matt? I nodded. He didn't say anything at first. Just ran toward me like a bullet and threw his arms around me. I held him for a long time. Eventually, Lauren came outside. She looked defeated, older, tired in a way that sleep wouldn't fix. Jacob, go inside for a minute, she said softly. He did, but he kept glancing back like he was afraid I might disappear again. Lauren crossed her arms. I didn't know he'd write you. Yeah, I said, keeping my voice steady. That's what happens when you lie to a kid. They grow up and start asking questions. She didn't argue. Maybe she knew she didn't have a leg to stand on. I made a lot of mistakes, she said finally. No, I said. A mistake is forgetting a birthday. You didn't make mistakes, Lauren. You made decisions, cruel, calculated ones. You stole 4 years from both of us. She looked away, tears in her eyes. I thought Damon would be the one. And when he wasn't, I didn't know how to fix it. So I blamed you. Silence hung between us. You said I wasn't his father when it was convenient. Now that you're struggling, you want me back in his life, but only for what I can give you. But this isn't about you anymore, it's about him. She nodded, swallowing hard. I'm not going to write you a check, I said. But I am going to be in Jacob's life again. Whether you like it or not. He wants me here. You don't get to deny him that anymore. Lauren wiped her eyes, barely holding herself together. I don't have the strength to fight you. You never did, I said, walking toward the house. Since then, things have slowly rebuilt. I'm not trying to replace the years we lost, but I'm there now, every weekend. Video calls during the week, ball games, science fairs, late-night talks about girls and school and life. Jacob's older now. He knows the truth. I didn't sugarcoat it, but I didn't bash her either. I just told him, I always wanted you. I never left you. I was just kept away. That was enough for him. As for Lauren, she's still figuring things out. I don't hate her. I can't afford to. Hatred steals too much. But I'll never trust her again. This isn't a story with a perfect ending. There's still pain, still gaps that can't be filled. But the important thing is, Jacob knows who was always in his corner. He may not share my blood, but he'll always be my son.